another episode brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbooking app. Not only is it safe, but it is secure and reliable. And Deke, there is a promo code. Could you tell them what the promo code is, please?
You sure you want me to?
I mean, because they hear from me all the time. I just feel like it's better when it comes from you.
Okay. It's pretty simple. It's easy to remember. It's MOATS. MOATS.
Boom. Can't go wrong with that. So for all the first-time users out there, if you use the promo code MOATS, you'll receive up to $1,000 in deposit bonus money. So stop wasting time, download the app, use the promo code, and get an opportunity to make a little money.
I had no clue how important this dude was or how highly everyone thought of him within the organization. So Shira was the GM whenever I was really paying attention to the Pens, and he was awesome.
Okay.
So they got rid of him in 2014-15. He comes in, and he probably, a lot of people are saying, was the main catalyst for those two cups in 16 and 17.
I mean, he was super aggressive in terms of the deals that he was making. Some people loved him. Some people obviously hated him. But either way, he was very, very progressive in terms of his approach of just turning over the roster. And we saw it that year, but then we also saw it again last year with some of the trades that he made, especially, right at the deadline, man, getting in some, just bigger quality names, guys like Jason Zucker and stuff like that. Rodriguez came through as well. I mean, he did a lot of that right around the deadline, but that has been his MO when you look at him throughout his career.
Like, he's always wheeling and dealing because I think they were saying, like, he's the one guy who will trade someone, but then a couple years later, he's actually going to trade back for him. Like, Kapanen is one of the examples. I forget if there's another one, but there was a couple of guys that he's done that with.
Well, even here in Pittsburgh, was Brian Rust, I want to say. He had traded him away and then traded him back. So, I mean, you see these type of things with Rutherford, man. He's just a very aggressive in his approach in terms of how he will maneuver his rosters in. The success has reflected it. But I also think that kind of has been the knock on him as well. It's like you like it, but then eventually it kind of catches up. And then from there, you get this little lull. And I think that's what people kind of viewed this season as a little bit with him, just because obviously it hasn't gotten off to the best of start. I mean, obviously it's still a good start for the Pens, but they still aren't viewed as the best team in the NHL right now. Now they have a chance to be, but they obviously got to work a lot more to get to that level. But as a whole, man, I just think that his impact is going to be felt in a big way because he did such a great job of just acquiring talent, not allowing anyone on the roster to become complacent. So that's why I thought, man, it was important that he was here, but then to see him just resign out the blue like that.
Rangers just scored, bro.
Oh, man, don't tell me that, baby. How much time we got left, man? How much time?
8:50.
Oh, plenty of time.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see. Now, I wanted to ask you then, what do you think was the main reason for him leaving? Because it kind of came out of nowhere. It's personal reasons, but then it doesn't seem like it's health related. There's some rumor. Have you seen some of the rumors or have talked about him even on the fan?
The thing that I've seen thus far was just, he said his health was fine. In fact, he noted the president. He was like, Joe Biden, who is, I think, 78. He was like, I'm a lot younger than him because obviously Rutherford is 71 years old. But I mean, I saw some speculative things, but you know me, I'm not going to be the one to bring it up. You can bring it up and I'll react to it. But I'm not.
There was a deal for Letang.
That's what.
And then Penn's ownership put the kibosh on it.
Yeah, that's definitely similar things to what I've heard. Yeah.
So if that's Rutherford's direction or kind of what he's thinking of, now that doesn't, from my opinion, I don't think trading Letang necessarily means it's going to be a rehaul when you're tanking the season because you still got a lot of quality players. I don't even know how good Letang's even playing this year, right?
Well, I mean, it's still early on, and obviously, like I said, for me, I still feel like these guys, I mean, if you start off fast, great, kind of like with the Steelers this year with no offseason. But with these guys, I was expecting a slower start just because of how fast the season ended for them, along with how many new players they had going into the end of the season last year when everything happened. But for Letang, I mean, when he's healthy, that's the biggest thing. He has to stay healthy. Obviously, he missed a good amount of time. I want to say it was last year dealing with some injuries. So that's going to be the big thing with him, man.
So that's the thing is a lot of people are saying with him resigning that he's upset because now he doesn't have like full autonomy over the team. So, wow, if I don't have that anymore, why am I here? I want to take this in a certain direction. So I think that's kind of like the rumors what's going on. So if you're the Pens now, I guess they're trying to stay put for the most part. I don't know what type of moves they're going to be trying to make.
Yeah, I forgot the guy's name. He's been in the organization. It's Patrick Alvin, I want to say. He was the assistant GM under Rutherford, and now they've made him the intern GM for the time being. But they said that they're going to look to find somebody who is similar to Rutherford in terms of that aggressive win
within the season
approach. Well, from everything I heard, that's what they said. They're going to be very aggressive in this approach of replacing him, but they want somebody that's very much similar to his approach. So
that's weird because
the problem is though, trying to find that during the season, that's tough.
But that's strange because it feels like you had that guy in Rutherford. Mm-hmm. Is it just 3 or 4 players that you can't trade? Maybe that's what it is.
I think this is the thing though, from an organizational standpoint, you can want a guy that's going to wheel and deal as long as you got the final say so, and that's fine. But if you're Rutherford and you feel like, hey, I don't want to stay here if I don't have full autonomy, then I don't think it's on the organization to even decide if he's going to stay or not. Because remember, it wasn't like he got fired. He resigned. So the beef wasn't from the organization side.
Only 1 year left on his deal, too. I think it was up after this year.
Yeah, so to me, I look at that as that was more so Rutherford. It was on him just being like, hey, if I don't have that, then I don't want to be here, or whatever it was that he felt was that strong. But it was more so from his end because he was the one who resigned. If it was the Pens firing him, different conversation, right? Then we could go the whole approach of, well, they did have that guy in-house, man. That why would they want to follow that up? But when you think about him resigning, it's like, no, they wanted that. He just chose to leave. So now they got to try to find the next best thing that's similar to him. That's at least how I took it.
But if you put all that together, it makes sense as to why someone would think there was a Letang trade and they had it. And then all of a sudden ownership put the kibosh on it. If you add all that together.
Agree. And you know what else it reminds me of? That Lagoli situation we was talking about as well.
What are you talking about?
And remember, we were talking about how, in terms of Tristan Jarry, right? We said, man, he got the contract, and we would assume that he's supposed to be the guy, right? Full belief, everybody's backing him. But we said that it just seemed as if Mike Sullivan didn't view Jarry the same way as management did with the deal that they gave him, which was why we were talking about how they pulled him, and I think it was the 3rd game of the season. But then from there, you could just see how they were still allowing Casey to get
back-to-back starts for DeSmith right here. I know he played good last game, but still.
Yeah, but still. So just to think, this is a guy, you just gave this guy a contract this offseason. So you would assume that, hey, this is supposed to be your guy. And especially in a condensed season, it's only 56 games. So every game is important. You don't have that luxury of, we could drop multiple games and we'll still be fine. No, this is a very, very much competitive season because of the short length of it. So when I see that and then I hear these reports, it kind of makes me feel like, man, maybe there was a little bit of a dysfunction between the GM and coaching staff and organization as a whole in terms of how they view certain players and their overall belief. I mean, these are the type of things that it makes you really question that.